Well, I don't know. What do? You fix the TV, just about to hand it back to the customer, and then another fault appears. Good afternoon, and welcome once again. For those following our political drama, I can let you know that currently Rachel Reeves is still performing, but how long for? And for those that are interested, over here, Kia's lights are still on. But unfortunately, Lionel Richie, and I just got I've just got an email from Lionel Richie saying, how dare you? I've just got an email from Hisense. They're very good with their communication, Hisense. Saying there is a way of doing a forced update with the USB firmware, but that's what I was doing. The instructions they gave me were exactly the same as I was doing. The only difference is they keep saying, while keep pressing the on-off button. Now, does that mean just keep pressing it down, or does it mean keep pressing? I think it actually means keep pressing, as in on-off, on-off, on-off. But I wasn't doing that. I was keep pressing, as in keep your finger down. So let's try on-off, 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 and see if it works. And see if Lionel Richie can be dancing on the ceiling once again. So I've got to switch it on first. Then you have to switch it off and hold power button down. Now, all my other Hisense TVs around are probably going to go just as loopy. Yeah, they're going to switch off, but it doesn't matter. Right. So Hisense currently, I'm just going to leave it for a second, just in case miraculously one day it automatically comes past its splash screen. And then I can reset it, but at the moment, no, it doesn't look like it is going to do that. So I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to switch it back on while holding down, but now I'm going to go up and down, up and down. But to me, all that does is power it on. Oh, well, okay. But it says the system is the latest version, but I'm going to carry on pressing up, down, up, down, up, down. The system, how often do I keep... Blooming hurting my finger, Mum, or my thumb. I don't believe you're supposed to be doing that. The red light is flashing, but it's flashing an error light because it can't go any further. I'm just finishing this off. A lot of people thought this was overcomplicated as a repair. It's not, but maybe the way I explained it was overcomplicated. For those that haven't seen this TV, an LG 55, only one side of the backlights was coming on. Nothing to do with the backlights themselves. It was to do to the driver on the power supply. The power supplies for these are freakingly expensive. I'm guessing it's an ongoing fault. The LE driver itself is available, but if it's going to have this as a regular problem, then it's pointless putting the driver in. Same way it's pointless buying a new board. So we came up with a workaround, and the workaround was to put one of these individual LED drivers on there. Now this is all fixed in, and the relay is fixed in. So just let me show you, because we did have an issue last time I did this. And I'll show you what the issue was in a second. But basically, you buy these LED drivers. Now, you can get these on eBay. They're about £10 to £15 each. And you can get different ones. I needed one that could do 200 volts DC, which is quite a powerful one. But then again, these edge lit strips are quite powerful. So just let me show you. And this is technically powering up the right-hand side over here, LEDs. And it's very simple to wire in. Quite simply, those two wires here go to the positive and negative of the LEDs. And those two wires here go to the positive and negative of the mains. This particular occasion, the mains is coming in on the center pins there of the bridge rectifier. So that gives it 240 volts. And that switches on the backlights. But of course, the issue you would have if you just left it like that is that these backlights would be on all the time. Even when you switch the TV into standby, you'd have to unplug or switch off the TV every time. And so we devised a route to put in a relay. This is a 12-volt relay, which obviously switches 240 volts. So there's our switch cable there. Just acting just like a normal main switch, on, off, and it's switching off and on the LED driver. And this activates from 12 volts. So as soon as this gets 12 volts, it will switch this on, which will switch on those lights, as I say, around here. As soon as the 12 volts disappears, it will switch them off. Or at least that's what we hoped. This seems to be not a very sensitive relay. Nicked this from a LG 55-inch OLED TV, which was trash. So we got the relay from there. And after I repaired it last time, you did see it switch off. But then on the final test, it stopped switching off, and we thought, that's strange. So when we switched the TV to standby, the right-hand side of LEDs here would actually stay on. So double checking, and even though we found a 12 or 13 volts feed for this, it didn't always switch down to below 12 volts. Well, it always switched below 12 volts, but it was only switching down to 7.58 volts. And because this is not a terribly sensitive relay, 8 volts is enough to keep it on. Sometimes it would go down to 6 or 7, but not always. So we had to find a better 13-volt feed, which went down to absolutely nothing. And believe it or not, this little thing that you can see down here, I'm being restricted by cable, but that's better. I can zoom in a bit more. So that's all that is. That is a 13-volt feed. And it's on the power amplifier side of the main board, as you can see. You can see the power amplifier there. And when you switch that off, that goes down to zero eventually, but it takes a couple of seconds. And then when that goes down to zero, it switches off the backlights. And so this is now done. So I know it sounds complicated, but it's really not. You could plug that into a mains. You could plug that into the mains, plug that into your LEDs, and your LEDs would come on. But obviously from a TV point of view, we want the LEDs to come on at the same time as the left-hand side here comes on. Now, they don't come on identically. There is a bit of a delay on, well, there's a delay on the working side. Our side comes on pretty much straight away because the power amplifier comes on pretty much straight away. But the working side that still works off the power supply, that does take a second or two to come on, as they always do. But I will show you. We'll plug it in and we'll grab the remote, because I've got the IR sensor all stuck in, and we'll just see it at work one more time. Right, so I've got the TV. You may be able to see that it's in standby if this camera wants to behave itself, which it doesn't always do. These cameras are great, but they have a mind of their own. But anyway, it's in standby. Let me switch this TV on by using the remote control. You can see the right-hand side comes on straight away, and the left-hand side has now gone faulty. That is incredible. That is incredible. The right-hand side, because that's the one that we fixed. Oh, isn't that amazing? The left-hand side has gone now naturally. Whether it's gone because the power supply has given up on the other side or not, I don't know. Or it's just gone naturally. Well, I'm pleased it's gone now before the customer takes it. Wow. It did flick on for a second. As you can see, that one takes its time because it's just waiting for the amp to go down to below 12 volts. But yes, the left-hand side is now gone. How crap is that? Okay. I'm not going to give up on it, but that's what can happen sometimes. It's quite rare that it happens. Obviously, I don't know, as I say, if it's the LEDs that have failed on the other side, or if it's now the driver chip that's decided, no, we're not going to give any power. Yeah. I think I may have to leave this alone. Not to worry, when you work with electronics, these things come and slap you in the face a little bit. Face completely slapped. But thank God it happened now, rather than the customer gave me some pennies and took it home and lasted 2 days. Even though the side that we've repaired is still repaired, but it's decided that the other side's gone now. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. One of those days.